Hello, and welcome to my technical equipment chamber. Still under construction, not too fond of this yellow DMV IRS waiting room color. So going forward in 2026, I may be doing some live streaming as well as gear review in this room. I'm also working on a website where I'm going to be posting my photography as well as more details related to my previous and future explorations. So in this video, what we're going to be doing, this video of Explore Paranatural, what we're going to be doing is pinpointing and locating an exact location from a Bigfoot encounter, Class B Bigfoot encounter report that I pulled off the BFRO website, the Bigfoot Research Organization's website. If you're at all familiar with my channel, I love studying lidar and maps before I go out into the wild, and this is exactly what I do in this video. It's an armchair investigation. It's not a boots on the ground, so I apologize for that. But don't worry, we're going to be doing that very soon. But I ask that you stick around. You actually may enjoy this. So with this all said, with this introduction, let's go hit the computer. It's not a man cave. All right. Two things before we take a look at the report. One is I'm not monetized. I'm not monetizing my channel. I'm not making any money off of any of the images that I'm showing either. Two is this is something I've been doing well before I started investigating Bigfoot. Normally, I look at lidar and pick out interesting artifacts, map them up with Onyx Backcountry, which what we are looking at right here, and then go out, hike, set up base camp, and explore the area for hopefully some old relics from the 1800s. That's my biggest passion. That's one of my biggest passions, plus woodland photography, which I'm really going to be focusing on in 2026. So what we're looking at here is Onyx Backcountry. This is Uwharrie National Forest. There are four national forests in North Carolina. This is the smallest at 51,000 acres. What makes Uwharrie unique is we're going to zoom in here. If you notice, it's broken up in pieces, like pieces of a puzzle. There is an effort by the Three Rivers Land Trust to unite these parts, but it's an ongoing process, probably going to take a century or so. The northern end of Uwharrie National Forest, you have the Burkhead Wilderness area. I know there is a strong effort to connect the Uwharrie Trail at the north end here to the Burkhead Mountain Wilderness. Hopefully one day they'll be able to do that. That'll be pretty cool, because as of right now, you have to walk down the road to continue on down south. So I'm gonna scroll on down to the southern section, and this is what's called the Wood Run area. Dutchman's Creek Trail, the Uwharrie Trails. You have a lot of mountain biking in this area. I actually have never been to this location. As you can see, the icons, Bigfoot icons, these are reports that I've come across so far, and I'm roughly mapping them out, but the one we're going to be focusing on is right up here. Now, there's a few things we're going to be taking a look at. Again, this is just the map from Onyx Backcountry. The sighting took place right here. This is what's called the Dutchman Creek Uwharrie Cross. And I'm going to bring up the lidar image and the report. Just bear with me. Oh, there we go. So from the map that we just looked at, you can see here the Dutchman Creek and the Uwharrie Trail. Now I'm going to go to the lidar. We're going to take a quick peek at all the maps first, and then we're going to go into the report, because I want you guys to get a good perspective, because there's a few details in the report that are highly relevant to certain land features, which really helped me pinpoint, I would say with 98% accuracy, that this is where the campers were and this is where the Bigfoot was. It's pretty cool, guys. Let me X out of this. So we're looking at the actual website where I obtained the lidar from. I'm going to leave a link in the description how to get to it, and yeah, it has to load up here. Give it a second. Zoom out, zoom in. Come on. All right, let me just keep it here. This right here, as you could see in the left-hand corner, this is the Uwharrie Trail. What I do is I fill in the blanks, so to speak. And we're going to go back to that map. This is the Wood Run Road on the map, right up in here. And somewhere you could vaguely see it on this version. I usually copy this image and then I use Lightroom to enhance it so I could really see the different features and the old roads that aren't marked on any maps. So let's go back to Onyx Backcountry. So here we have the Uwharrie Trail again, and here we have the Dutchman Creeks Trail. Now let's go to the report. This is new for me, so just bear with me right now how I'm doing this. I'm normally out in the wild recording. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now, I've been debating whether to read the camper's report or the report from the investigator, the BFRO investigator. This is actually the BFRO's website. Let me just scroll back out if you're not too familiar with it. This is their homepage. And what you can do is you could select Alaska, Canada, or the United States. And you're going to navigate to a page where it has all the states. And then you click on one of those states. And that actually gives you a listing here, as you can see, all the different Bigfoot encounter reports that each state had. So naturally, we're going to go to North Carolina. As you can see, we have 109 here in the state of North Carolina. And then it breaks it down into counties. And what you're going to find really interesting is Montgomery County, which is where Uwharrie National Forest predominantly sits in. It sits in a few different counties. I have my notes over here. It's Randolph County, Davidson County, Stanley, and Moore County. It's pretty much where Uwharrie is spread out into. It has the most in the state. And this is not, don't take this for face value. There is way more reports in Montgomery County alone. The BFRO website doesn't include all the reports that are coming from the state or the county. I have actually, let's just click into it. I'm just jabbering away here. I actually have a report that somebody left on one of my videos, which I plan on doing. So again, let me know if you like this kind of content. And I'll try and get better at it as we go along. So we're going to select, so I read all these reports here. What we're going to select is November 14th, Class B. I found it to have the most geographical details to actually put some effort and time in to do what we're doing right here, to pinpoint the exact location of the report. So I'm going to bring this up. So it's a Class B. There are 3 different classes if you're not familiar with the Bigfoot phenomenon. I actually have a little tab up here, and this explains the different classes if you want to just pause real quick. Again, we're Class B. Class A is pretty much you're directly visualizing a cryptid, some type of bipedal humanoid creature. So let's go back to this. I have to expand these tabs every time I click in and out. All right, so what we're going to do, I think I'm going to start off with the top here. It took place in 2014, the fall, November 8th. So this is it during hunting season, and these little facts are important. Montgomery County, North Carolina. Location detail. Where the Dutchman and Uwharrie recreational trails cross, take the north section. So right here where I have it circled is the cross where Uwharrie and Dutchman meet. And this is, you can consider this going down south, and this is going north. On the topo map, it is the first campsite at the creek to the right at the bottom of the hill. So I believe what the campers did is they hiked along the Dutchman's Creek Trail north, and then took a right down this little slope right here. And now this is the creek. This is little, let me zoom this out. Little Island Creek. So I believe what they did is they went down the hill here, And we'll see in the details later on that they camped right around this section where you can see the little hand. And I want you to also focus on this point. This is very interesting. And we're going to go over some of the little details in here, which makes this even more interesting. So we're going to go, I'm going to read the investigator's report instead of, yeah, this is a tough one. We'll go back and forth. We'll see how it plays out. So I spoke with the witnesses by phone 3 days after the encounter, and the details of the activity were very fresh on his mind. The witness is ex-military and has spent a great deal of time in the woods. He and his friend were camping at the intersection of the Dutchman's Creek Trail and the Uwharrie Trail. They both went to bed around 7:30 p.m. The activity began around 8 p.m. It started with a loud crashing, limb breaks, and intimidating behavior. He heard something walking in arcs just above their campsite. So I'm going to stop right there and we're going to zoom in to this location. He said arcs. When I was studying this lidar image, you could see right here, there's kind of like a little scoop taken out of the hillside here. I'm not sure if this is natural or man-made, but I do know from previous experiences studying lidar and putting boots on the ground and actually matching these artifacts. These are mining pits that you can see here. So I believe this area had some significant mining activity back in the past, probably the mid 1800s to the 1900s. There's a nice little something going on here, like not a portal. It's not a cave or anything like that. It could be. Maybe we need to get boots on the ground and take a look at this because this is pretty interesting, considering all the different details that are happening in this report. But most likely it's a mining pit in the hillside. And it is an arc. So I believe that's what is being referred to in the report. All right, I'm going off again a little bit. So I'll try and rein it in. So let's go back. So he heard something walking in arcs just above their campsite. And it kept going back and forth, crashing trees and being extremely noisy. The witness yelled at it, "Go on." Things got quieter for a minute, but started back up with movement closer to camp. It crossed the dry bed creek, which was 100 feet from the camp. So I could see this being the dry bed creek because this is the beginning of Little Island Creek. So that's probably the driest throughout the whole creek itself. So the witness yelled again. Let's see, I think I lost my place. Okay, rocks being banged. Sorry about that. It crossed the dry creek bed, which was about 100 feet from camp. Rocks being banged together loudly numerous times was heard. The witness yelled again, probably "Go on." This was at 9 p.m. Then a large rock went through the trees and landed very nearby. It's probably one of the rocks he was banging in his hands. He also noticed daytime birds chirping in an arc above their campsite. Again, in the arc above their campsite. And a owl hooting. He noted he felt the woods felt different with a strange energy level. Things quieted down after a while. Then he heard dogs barking everywhere, and at midnight heard a long, loud wailing sound. He described it as a long drawn-out vocalization that sounded like it was in pain. I imitated the Ohio moaning howl for him, and he said that it was exactly the same he heard. So, yeah, let's click on that. I wonder if it's gonna play it for us. If it doesn't play it while I'm screen recording right now, I'll somehow put it on there. Okay, so you can see the Bigfoot website is the research organization's website is it's pretty involved. It's been around for a while. I highly recommend checking it out. I'm going to leave a link in the description below. So the witness was extremely disturbed by all this activity, and they immediately left the area the next morning. He described himself as freaked out. by these events. His views of the woods have been changed forever. Yeah, obviously. So, yeah, let's just read this last part. Then we're going to go back into the image. Let me bring that up as I'm reading. The Uwharries have been a hotbed of Sasquatch activity over the years. Montgomery County, North Carolina leads the state in reports. It has the perfect conditions for large bipedal to exist. There is a mixture of farmland and remote forest which provide cover and food. Waterways are abundant with the Uwharrie River, and I don't know if you want to drink from the Uwharrie River, and its tributaries, Biden Lake and Lake Tillery to the west, with abundant wildlife, deer, rabbits, wild turkey, raccoons, possums, and waterfowl. I believe most turkeys are wild. There's probably a lot more like bunny rabbits and things like that he could eat. Yeah, so what do you think so far? I think with the details in this report, it'd be interesting, maybe a day hike, go out and check this area out. And he said this is from 2014, so I don't think the tree snaps might not be there anymore. But little details like that, you can go and just kind of investigate these reports instead of just taking them for face value. It's a way. It's kind of a healthy exercise. See if you could find any broken limbs that are in that arc area that I believe where most of the activity was, and then I believe the Bigfoot jumped over. In the actual observer's report, he talks about the Bigfoot went over. You could see it right here, latrine. The animal came across the creek near a spot where we had been using as our latrine. I turned on my headlamp and yelled out, "Go on." So he pretty much just describes what we read in the investigator's report. There's a few more details in the investigator's report. That's why I used his. And there's one other thing. I'm going to try and end it here because this is just an exercise for me. I want to see if you guys take to it and if it's something you want me to do another report on. The moon. Right. The moon conditions. Here, the moon... It shows you the moon tells you the illumination, which was waning gibbous, 96%, which is pretty bright. And with the leaves down, it pretty much probably illuminates the forest floor for that day that they had the encounter. So time and condition, 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. Where does it say the moon rose? Oh, moonrise, I'm sorry, 7 p.m. So I'm assuming around 12, the moon is starting to get really high above. But the activity pretty much started as the moon came over the horizon. So that's an interesting detail, and something I've been doing lately. I'm gonna pop it up here. I'm starting to keep a lunar, solar, and weather document of all the details for that day or a few days that I'm going to be on my explorations in the future. Could be useful. I know that I'm going to bring it up in another video, but there is somebody collecting lunar data and seeing statistically what periods during the moon phase Bigfoots are most active. So yeah, what do you think? Leave your comments below, and if you like my content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Really do appreciate you guys. If you made it this far, thank you.